welcome to episode 8 in our Energy Markets Talk series for the first time from our office in the Netherlands. And we are joined today by Davide Rubini, who heads the regulatory affairs team for the energy markets in South and Eastern Europe at Shell. Thanks for joining, Davide.
Thank you for having me.
I was curious, how have you and your team been dealing with the COVID crisis for the past few months?
Well, I guess it's a story that you might have heard already from others. I think I would say there have been three phases in the way we've dealt with it. The first phase was an emergency mode where we were trying to just understand and have a view on how long the effect was going to be and whether we were going to see any regulatory intervention of any kind, or if maybe the market was able to absorb the emergency independently. Then I think, especially in the southern markets, we have, and even more in the east, we have seen a wave of intervention, which have ranged from the support schemes primarily towards consumer, but then at some point also towards other market participants. And then following that phase, we've seen a bit of a withdrawal or revision of the measure, and an assessment towards the preparation of a mid to long term strategy. So these are the three moments. Now, if you, I think there has been a fairly good level of consistency of the nature of the measures that we have seen emerging in the different markets, although each country had its specificity. But one must say that net of the economic and financial impacts that market players have had, the market overall has managed to cope relatively well with the emergency. Not that there's been an happy period, but the market has coped well, has muddled through. And as a matter of fact, there has been, I can mention only one case where the regulator has felt the need to intervene by influence the pricing, and that was on the power markets for Italy, where we're seeing for a couple of months the introduction of a cap and floor for the imbalance price for non-programmable renewables, which is now being phased out at the end of June.
Okay. And Davide, you've been discussing the market functioning in the SEE region as a speaker in our events in the past. Can you maybe give us a little update on the current market functioning in South and East European gas markets?
Yeah. I think in the past couple of years, we've seen a good set of initiatives across the region, although there are exceptions. And this has been primarily driven by the Commission, who's really put some emphasis in facilitating the implementation of European network codes in the region. So we were on a positive trend. However, COVID has put a bit on halt all the conversation. Reaching out to regulators and TSOs in the region has proven a bit more difficult than it is normally in other countries. And to be honest, at the moment, I'm not able to say what would be the traction that we will have in our discussion with regulator going forward. We will have to wait and see. This said, one must say that things have moved forward. For instance, when it comes to the implementation of the tariff network code, the picture is pretty much complete. We have had some delays, for instance, when it comes to the publication. Sorry, there is a bit of background noise. With the publication of the tariff in Bulgaria and Greece. But regulators have swiftly responded to our request to publish information, and we expect everything to be in order. There is only in the region, there is also only the Slovakian TSOs or the Slovakian tariff that are still a bit a question mark. but we know that the current regulatory period is deemed to last until 2022. So we knew anyway that not much was going to happen in these months. Otherwise, I would say that so in general, work on implementation of network code is going forward where it needed to go forward. We still have, however, the usual extra network code issues in some countries. So in Romania, the debate on the gas release program towards the domestic producers is still open. It's a bumpy road. The government has changed various time position, and I understand that producers are not entirely happy with where things landed lately, with the definition of the pricing mechanism for the gas that they are supposed to release to the market. Or, for instance, if you take Poland, we are still waiting for a reform of the storage obligation, which had caused back in 2017 a massive withdrawal from the market of several players, and also reduce inevitably reduce liquidity. What we know on the front is that the infringement procedure is going forward, and the Polish government should be putting out a consultation between the end of June and beginning of July with a set of mitigation measures aimed at resolving the problems caused by the storage obligation. But the process is being managed in a very formal way, so we don't know what will be there. Some things will change, but we don't know what exactly. So it's a bit of a mixed picture. So to summarize, COVID has slowed down things a little bit, but we were part of a positive trend. Where there were issues that were of a political, that had a political weight, things are still not resolved, and I would single out Romania and Poland as the countries where we're still struggling to find some traction.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, of
Okay.
course, you know that in Greece we have the privatization process of DEPA, which is now in the the second phase. I think 6 companies or 7 companies have been pre-selected for the acquisition of the Greek company, and I guess out of that privatization process we will see some things changing in the region, and then of course by the end of the year we will see TAP becoming operational. That also will change a bit the picture in the southeast region.
Okay. Thank you for this update. So if I listen carefully, the crisis has had some impact on developments to improve market functioning, but it's mainly a few delays. But you still think with some delays, everything is still will still be on track in the foreseeable future.
As I said, as in answering the first question,
Yeah.
Probably everybody is going to see how things will go this next winter, and then we will be able. Now it's still a bit of a waiting mode. Then, of course, for a lot of these countries, also the Brexit outcome will have a bearing in terms of how licensing and licenses will be managed. So there you have another variable that may cause a bit of distress on the market.
Understand. Well, that's indeed also a very interesting topic, maybe for one of the next talks we will do. I want to thank you very much for joining this series, and hopefully I'll see you in November when we have our Etsy conference scheduled.
Fantastic, and thank you, Patrick, for giving me the opportunity to speak and talk to you.